Welcome to Channel's Business Global with me, Juliana Olayinka, from our studios here in London. Over the next half an hour, we'll be looking beyond the business headlines by giving you in-depth perspective on the stories that are affecting all of us. Coming up on today's show, the fourth wave of COVID-19 is sweeping across Europe, leading to increased restrictions and more economic chaos. Our business correspondent Simon Pusey will join me in the studio to provide the latest on the strong reactions. And total trade in goods and services between the UK and Nigeria plummeted 28% in 2020 from £3.2 billion the previous year. During a sit-down with Nigeria's High Commissioner to the United Kingdom, Sharifa Tunji Ishola, the ambassador discussed with me his plans to evolve this multi-billion-pound relationship. Then later, I'll be looking back at some of the biggest company news stories of the week. But first, let's start the show with business news from here in the UK. HSBC has issued a warning to shoppers ahead of today's Black Friday bonanza after Action Fraud, Britain's National Reporting Centre for Fraud and Cybercrime, reported that shoppers lost £15.4 million to scam online shopping bargains ahead of the festive period last year. The centre received reports relating to over 28,000 consumers being conned out of their money. This was a 61% increase in 2019. UK shoppers are expected to splash out a massive £9.4 billion. In other British business news, travel and leisure firms have been plunged into chaos as COVID cases are on the rise again in Europe. Authorities are seeking to curb the spike through various means, from a national lockdown in Austria to limiting accesses to certain services elsewhere, or pushing for an increase in vaccination rates. In Western Europe, only 60% of people are fully immunised against the vaccine. The World Health Organization has warned that Europe and Central Asia could face another 700,000 COVID-19 deaths by the 1st of March. In Europe's largest economy, outgoing Chancellor Angela Merkel already announced that the government will introduce tighter COVID-19 restrictions on unvaccinated citizens. Well, earlier I spoke with our business correspondent Simon Pusey for some analysis. Simon, travel and leisure-related stocks all in the red now that we're seeing this fourth wave of COVID sweeping across the continent.
Yeah, it's not looking good at all for Europe. The World Health Organization say that by March next year, we could be seeing over 2 million deaths in Europe alone. If we start with the Netherlands, they hit a record on Tuesday, up 39%. They're even sending people across to Germany because their hospitals are so inundated with patients. Looking at Germany, they're considering another full lockdown. The minister there being very stark, saying by the end of this winter you'll either be vaccinated, recovered or dead, trying to get everyone to get their vaccinations in Germany. In France, many other European countries, you now need a COVID pass or a health pass or a pass sanitaire, as it is in France, to eat in a restaurant or drink in a bar or go to other public occasions. And we've seen rioting across Europe, particularly in Austria and the Netherlands, also in Belgium and Brussels, where they're usually pretty chilled, about new COVID lockdown restrictions. The UK is slightly different. According to an analysis of COVID case rates across the UK, 75% of local authorities experienced a week-on-week rise in the 7 days to 19th of November, so cases are rising here as well. But I think we're seeing that hospitalisations and deaths have been pretty flat for the last few months, and the reason for that is we're kind of ahead of Europe. We obviously opened up fully in July. A lot of people saying that was a bad idea, but the fact that it was summer in July, people weren't necessarily indoors as much as they are in the winter. And also it seems that we've been hit by these alpha variants and all these other variants that we're seeing across Europe. We were hit a couple of months ago with these. So cases rose in the UK then, and we've kind of already had our fourth wave and no one really sort of noticed it, partly because unfortunately the number of deaths that we're seeing, hundreds per day still, has kind of been naturalized now. You know, the media aren't covering it all over because it's just been happening for so long now. So while we see we're sort of flatlining, Europe's going up hugely. There's also the case that we've managed to get this a combination of a good vaccine rollout, which has been pretty good across the UK compared to other countries, and also this natural immunity because we have been open for much longer. So it's looking a little bit better in the UK than it is across Europe. Europe. But of course, it's Christmas. There are going to be gatherings indoors. People are cold and going to be going to the pub and staying indoors and sort of socialising close. So I think we will see cases go up in the UK, but maybe not quite as badly as in Europe. But as a continent, as you say, a lot of people from the Americas, from Asia, will not be travelling here for Christmas as usual because obviously cases and deaths are very sadly going up.
Thank you, Simon. Ties between Nigeria and the United Kingdom have evolved into a more dynamic relationship that includes education, trade, arts and culture. The commercial tie is estimated to be worth over £6.1 billion annually, and it is increasing. On the sidelines of delivering his credentials to Her Majesty the Queen, Nigeria's High Commissioner to the United Kingdom, Ambassador Sharafa Tunji Ishola, granted Channels Business Global an exclusive insight into how he plans to expand on this multi-billion-pound partnership.
Nigerian-UK ties at this time, it's something that we need to improve drastically upon. But the window of opportunity that we have now, which we are exploring, is the issue of Brexit. Because with Brexit, Britain would have to focus on the African partners. And if you look at the meeting of the G20, that was held recently, the focus is Africa, because when you're talking of Africa, number one is Nigeria. I need to tell you, with the projection of the World Bank, the remittance for this year is put at $17.6 billion for Nigeria alone. And the rest, 12 other countries that receive remittances all over Africa, is also the same equivalent amount. So when we say Nigeria is the largest economy in Africa, that is no exaggeration. The market, 200 million people, is huge. And when you talk of human and material resources, the country is well blessed. From the Atlantic Ocean to the savanna vegetation, and even, I mean, the kind of resources that we have, is it in terms of mineral resources? As I talk to you, Nigeria has iron ton in terms of trillions of tons, you know, waiting to be harnessed. I'm also aware that we have gold deposits. You know that one of the challenges we are having in the Northwest today is due to illegal mining activities in that place, which the government has drastically stopped. And we also have gold deposits in many other parts of the country. And when you talk of bitumen, the bitumen deposit within the belt of Ondo and Ogun State is enormous, you know. So when you talk of, in terms of agric, you don't find many countries having the kind of vegetation that we have, from the forest vegetation to the savanna vegetation, which means in terms of food security, Nigeria can grow whatever it needs within this vegetation. And in terms of people, you marvel at Nigerians doing well at home, we're doing well abroad. So with our population and with our expertise, I'm very clear in my mind that Britain will have a good deal dealing with Nigerians. But this will not happen by happenstance. And that's why I must take this opportunity to really commend the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria with the various engagements that was done. Mr. President was here in July. He had very fruitful bilateral relations with the Prime Minister. I was present. It was a very constructive engagement, part of which we have started saying on the issue of education. That event has really led to Britain prioritizing Nigeria as one of the 5 countries in terms of educational development. And a champion education, Professor Smith, has been engaged. We are just 5 countries: Nigeria, Saudi Arabia, Vietnam, Singapore, and one other country, who has been earmarked for that. By the end of this week, have a meeting with Professor Smith, and what is striking in our meeting is what I've been advocating since I came into this country, and that is the need to coordinate efforts. And I was really thrilled because that meeting is the first coordinated meeting I'm looking forward to. It consists of the Professor Smith Committee, which is set up by His Majesty's government and by the Prime Minister himself. In addition to that, you have the British Council. In that collaboration, you have the Department of Education. In that collaboration, you also have the UUKI, that is Universities of UK International, especially the Sub-Saharan Africa department, being headed by Professor Follett on that committee. We also have Department of International Trade. So I'm really thrilled because this is what I've been looking for, a well-coordinated British institutions interfacing with Nigeria, so that whatever we are coming up with will be multitask and multidimensional, which is to the benefit of Nigerians. These are things that have arisen out of the engagement with the Prime Minister. And aside from that, the trade envoy to Nigeria, that is Helen Grant, has visited on a couple of occasions. I've also had 2 different engagements with her. It's sustained and continuous on the areas of bilateral relationship between Nigeria and Britain. I had an engagement with James Doddridge, the former Minister for Africa. I'm planning to have another one with Vicky Ford, the present Minister for Africa. And of course, I had an engagement with the West African Department, where I was able to articulate on a position on the need to have a binational commission. I've been asked to present the modalities and the framework, and that is being worked upon by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, whereby all issues relating to Nigeria from all departments of government, both in Nigeria and Britain, will come up once in 2 years, be able to look at the MOUs, those who are working well, those who are not, what we need to do, so that we have a coordinated approach at the Prime Minister's level or at whoever the Prime Minister designates for those bilateral. Of course, I had a meeting with the Home Secretary on the issue of migration and on the issue of voluntary returns of Nigeria, and also on the issue of skilled migration, because this is very key. Yes, we're talking of migration, but what is key is skilled migration, so that Nigerian professionals coming to UK are properly guided, and with the points-based system of the immigration, professionals in Nigeria stand better terms. I also discussed the issue of binational commission with her, to which she also promised to take up. So I've had engagement. I had the opportunity of attending with the president of the dinner by the Home Secretary during the Education Summit, where we just had interaction with various officials in the FCDO. And, of course, you know that the president was here for the Education Summit. That's part of the bilateral issues. So the engagement continues, and we're going to sustain it.
Coming up on Channel's Business Global, I'll be bringing you more from my exclusive sit-down with the Nigeria High Commissioner. Plus, we'll be looking back at some of the biggest company news stories of the week. See you after the break. Welcome back to Channel's Business Global with me, Juliana Olayinka, from our studios here in London. In a few minutes, we will continue our discussion with the Nigeria High Commissioner. But before then, here's some company news for you. On Monday, the share price in Marks & Spencer rose as much as 3.8% after a report in the Sunday Times said that New York-based investment firm Apollo Global Management is mulling a buyout of the UK high street staple. M&S has struggled in recent years, with shares down 22.4% over a 5-year period. However, the company has recently experienced a resurgence during lockdown, thanks in part to its joint venture with the online tech delivery firm Ocado. Both M&S and Apollo declined to comment on the report. Italy's antitrust authority has fined the US tech giants Amazon and Apple a total of more than €200 million for allegedly colluding in anti-competitive behaviour during the sale of Apple and Beats products. Contractual provisions of a 2018 agreement between the companies meant only selected resellers were allowed to sell the products on Amazon.it, which has been ruled a violation of European Union rules. The authority imposed a fine of €68.7 million on Amazon and €134.5 million on Apple. Apple denied any wrongdoing and said it plans to appeal against the ruling. Samsung Electronics has chosen the city of Taylor in Texas for its planned $17 billion US chip plant amid a global shortage of semiconductors used in automobiles, laptops, phones and other electronic devices. The move is the South Korean firm's biggest ever US investment. The plant is expected to be operational by the second half of 2024 and comes as US President Joe Biden has been pushing chip giants to increase their production in America. Now back to our exclusive sit-down with the Nigeria High Commissioner to the United Kingdom, Ambassador Sharifa Tunji Ishola. So, Ambassador, what has been the most challenging part of this role?
Thank you very much. The most challenging of the duty is in the passports application and processing. And I'll tell you why it's challenging. For those duties that I have absolute control, or that the Nigeria Commission has absolute control over, there are no issues about it. But in terms of passports, the application is usually through a US company called Innovate, after which the application is sent down to the server of Nigeria Immigration Service in Abuja before we are then advised on those that will come to London for processing. So, and also, you don't also have control over the issue of passport booklets and production. So, but then, as a representative of the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria in the UK, you have responsibility to make sure that the smooth running of all these agencies that are based in London are carried out diligently. So that means whenever you are having an application for your passport, I don't have control over that. So it starts from when the applications are sent to London, then we have to send you an email. But the most challenging aspect of it was that as at 16th April, when the process started, I keep on telling people that the lockdown in the UK between December 2019 and April 2021 this year is a period of 16 months because there was no personal interaction, person-to-person interaction. We had a backlog of over 18,000 applications awaiting biometrics capturing. And we had to hit the ground running. We started inviting based on first come, first serve. We started from application of December 2019. But because some Nigerians have urgent needs to travel, they started patronizing unauthorized sources. And that brought a negative image to the mission. And everybody in the mission, including the High Commissioner, is seen as a tout and a racketeer. So, and when you have that kind of situation, the reason why it's challenging is you know what to do. But passport is a national security document. And the people who engage in that are committing crime because they are unauthorized. But then, as the High Commissioner, you won't be getting Nigeria into some kind of, because you are here to protect Nigerians. So you know what to do, but yet you can't do it. If it's back home, that would be much easy for you to do. So it became challenging. And I definitely had to organize a sting operation to get to the roots of it. Lo and behold, we were able to smash the syndicate. And because people had, when people are desperate, they'll be ready to do many things. Nigerian passport was going for £350, £250, and there was even a time we had about, people. I said, "What is all this? Bringing a bad image to our country." So we had to streamline the process, and we created a window of opportunity for people who are in urgent need for passport. And we also embark on sensitization that you need to apply for the renewal of your passport 6 months to the expiry date. Because 6 months to the expiry date on your passport, there is no country that will issue visa on that passport. So we encourage a lot of people to do that. Those who want undue access for capturing, we created windows of opportunity at a cost which is quite optional. And people queue into it. As at today, I'm happy to say that we have not only cleared the 18,000 backlog, we have done additional 24,085. So within this period, we've been able to issue passport to 42,085 applicants in the last 6 or 7 months. And we only have just a backlog of 4,069 as of today. And the good news there is that just Friday night, the application portal for the e-passport has been shut down because we are transiting to enhanced e-passport, which provides opportunity for Nigerians in the UK to either have a 32-page 5-year passport or a 64-page 5-year passport for frequent traveler, or a 64-page 10-year passport. So this will create the windows of opportunity for Nigerians. And with the backlog of 4,000 plus, which was as at shut down the portal, we still have a backlog. We hope that in the next 3 months, we should be able to clear the backlog and fully transit to the enhanced passport. And the usual passport booklet definitely will be a thing of the past. So that's the most challenging thing, but we've been able to surmount it. And we have been encouraged by a lot of Nigerians from the positive feedback that we have received. Some of them even take time to write later, send emails acknowledging the fact that there has been a marked improvement in the processing of passports.
Your Excellency, thank you so much for joining me on Channel's Business Global. Well, sadly, that's all we have time for today, but do get in touch with your comments and suggestions. I'll see you at the same time next week for more in-depth business analysis on Channel's Business Global. Goodbye.